Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Amy and I'm on a 120-pound weight loss journey and I'm already halfway there. Today we're going to be talking about why I went vegan. So last year on January 1st, 2021, I went completely cold tofurkey, we'll say, and went vegan. December 31st, I was eating chicken and all of this other stuff, and then January 1st, I went completely vegan. And to be specific, I went whole food plant-based. So what's the difference? Well, veganism, potato chips are vegan, french fries are vegan, Beyond Burgers are vegan, all of that stuff. But I really went high carb, low fat. I focused on whole plant foods. I wanted to tell you why I made that decision to go full vegan. So I talked about it before a little bit on my channel when I did like my first intro video in 2019. No, 2020, yeah. Hey Gaia, mommy's trying to film. Could we not chew? If you hear something in the background, it's my dog chewing on her toy. But I wanted to tell you a little bit more about why I decided to go vegan. So in college, I started watching High Carb Hannah on YouTube. I used to only watch like makeup videos and things like that on YouTube. But then in college, I started watching more like recipe videos and homemaking and all that stuff. And I found Hannah. So I started watching her videos. I loved, that she lived pretty much in the middle of nowhere and was having a garden, and she lived in a tiny house. I think I actually found her because she lived in a tiny house. And then I realized she was vegan. And I didn't know too much about veganism. One of my professors in college was vegan. So I knew a little bit, but I didn't know a lot about it. And so I just watched her channel. I watched her and Derek, and I watched their mukbangs, and I watched her cook, and I saw that she had lost 70 pounds, I believe it was, going high carb, low fat vegan. And during college, I gained a lot of weight. And after college as well, And I was diagnosed with PCOS in 2020. And so I really started thinking, I really need to lose this weight, not just for me, but for my family, if I ever want a kid. Also, my risk of heart disease was going up, and I was at risk of cholesterol medicine and blood pressure medicine, all this, and I was only 23, I think, at the time, 24, whatever. So I was really too young for all of this, in my opinion. So I had been following Hannah for years. Then I had started following Plantiful Kiki maybe a year or so before that. So found Hannah and then found Kiki because of Hannah. And then I found Chelsea May Cullen. I'd found her. And so I'd been watching all these videos and other YouTubers, and I'd, looked at it, and I'd tried vegan food for, like, by vegan food, I mean, I had went to like vegan cafe, and I had at home kind of experimented a little bit myself with it and making some completely plant-based meals. And I noticed I felt better when I would eat that way consecutively for a few days. And I was getting nauseous every single time I ate. And that had been going on for a couple of years. I'd been put on medication. I just didn't want to take it for all the side effects and stuff. So I stopped taking it. I noticed every time I ate beef, I would throw up. So I stopped eating beef completely. Pork, pretty similar, got really, really sick. I still ate chicken. I worked at Chick-fil-A. Fish was pretty okay with me. Dairy, not so great. So when I was eating mostly plant-based as the experiments, I felt really good, and my husband commented how good he felt as well. So I had tried Weight Watchers, and I tried, losing the weight myself through still basically eating the standard American diet. And I was like, this isn't working. I need something else. So it was in November of 2020, I really started thinking, next year, 2021, what can I do to just completely change my life? And I thought, okay, if I went vegan, what's the worst that happens? I get healthy, and if I don't lose the weight, that's okay. I will still at least maybe not be nauseous all the time. I'll feel better. I began to read the book by Dr. Greger called How Not to Die. And that took me a while to get through because it is very scientifically heavy. It is very evidence-based. It is a wonderful, wonderful book. I completely recommend it. But I read that, and I realized how a lot of the problems I had and how a lot of the problems my family history had could possibly be helped, if not completely go away, by being vegan. So I read that, and then I read The Starch Solution by Dr. John McDougall because Hannah and Kiki had talked about it. So I read the book, and I was just amazed by the information in it, and it made sense to me. I have a degree in public health. I've taken a lot of nutrition and science classes, and that book just made sense. So I said to myself, again, what's the worst that happens? I've tried to lose this weight, and I can't do it. So why not? Why not give this veganism a try? Originally, I did not go vegan for the animals. I know, I'm going to get into that. I went vegan for my own health. I grew up in the South. I still live in the South. Grew up fishing a lot. Went hunting a few times. I live on the coast, so seafood is at every family gathering, every restaurant. It's mostly seafood. So I wasn't really aware of all the things that happen in the food industry, in the dairy industry, and all of that. I wasn't aware of that. And I didn't really think too much about it, I'll be honest. So January 1st, 2021, I went vegan. I cut it all out completely overnight. I didn't like ease into it. I just overnight just decided. The first month I lost over 15 pounds. Now that's not all fat. That was probably a lot of inflammation. You can even see after the first month my face, like, it was less puffy. I felt less puffy. So, and I cut out oil. I threw the oil out completely out of my house because it has no nutritional value. It's high in calories. So I went vegan and I threw out the oil. I'm not saying I didn't have any oil or anything like that, like when I would go out to eat, and I still do sometimes. So I did that, and about 2 weeks in January, I knew that this was going to be something that I wanted to do more than just my health. I had heard a lot about the movie Earthlings, and I had heard that obviously most people go vegan for the animals. So I had heard about the movie Earthlings, and so I watched it. It was the hardest thing I've ever watched. And I've watched a lot of hard things. I feel like, Gaia, honey. The dog's chewing on her toy. It was horrible, and it was so painful, and the sounds, and I hated it so much. So I watched that, and then I watched Cowspiracy. And so I was vegan for a couple months, obviously, and then March came around, and my husband had went vegetarian with me, but he was still doing dairy and all that. And March came around, and I said, listen, just watch Earthlings. If after that you still want to do the dairy and everything, totally fine. It's your choice. You're your own person. And he watched it, and he never went back. And then Cowspiracy came out, and I watched that, and that just solidified everything to me. Especially, like I said, growing up on the coast here. So I watched those movies, and it was just so heartbreaking. And I am a highly sensitive person. That's actually a thing. Like a terminology, I guess. And I just feel things so deeply. And when I saw those movies, and I felt it in a way that I couldn't explain. And you can say you love animals, and I love my dogs and I love my cats, but I then knew that I could not love animals and still eat them. And it's not like it's a choice. I mean, it's not like, eating animals is our only choice. It's not like we live in the Amazon rainforest with no grocery stores and hunting and fishing and, all of that is a way of life. No, this is mass production. This is mass killing of so many animals at once, and it's the way that they're treated and the way they're held, and it was just horrifying. And I knew that I would never go back. And so I've been vegan for a year, and it's been the best year of my life. It has actually been It's been easier to be vegan, honestly, than I thought it would be. The only thing that I actually find difficult is like family gatherings, because I have to kind of make my own food. There's not really ever anything for me to eat normally. Me and my husband to eat, so I have to make my own food. But as far as like going out to eat, hasn't really been hard at all. Eating at home obviously hasn't been hard. It's been quite cheap actually. So we don't actually buy a lot of meat substitutes either. We don't buy like vegan burgers and hot dogs and cheese and stuff very often, so that keeps costs down too. And like I said, we try to do low fat. But anyway, I just want to kind of tell my story of why and how I went vegan. I do have a tattoo that says Tara on my arm. You can't see it really, but I don't have a tattoo that's like specifically, you know, says I'm vegan yet, but I did get one that says Tara, which is Latin for earth, to kind of remind me of why I did this. And some days it is a little tough, I'll be honest, but I'm never really tempted. And that's kind of a good thing too, because like we would go on vacation, we went to St. Augustine, there's so many like ice cream shops and sweet shops and all this stuff, and I'm never tempted because they never have anything vegan. So I guess that's good in an aspect, you know. I know that my body isn't getting all kinds of crap in it because that's just not available. Even if it was, I wouldn't do that. But anyway, I'm just rambling now. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful for you. I would love to hear your vegan journey down below in the comments. Thank you again, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.